How do you tell whether a real estate agent is lying?
It's not easy.
Is your real estate agent telling you everything? While most real estate agents are trustworthy, there are aspects of the housing market and pricing strategies they may not fully disclose. If you're interested in learning more about mortgages and real estate, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And if you've had a bad experience with a realtor, comment below. I'd like to hear about it. I'm Brand the Mortgage Man, and I've helped more than 10,000 home buyers over my 20+ year career, putting me in the top 1% of loan originators nationwide. It's with this experience, I'm going to share some insider information your real estate agent might not share with you and how it impacts your home buying experience. In this video, I'll explain local market trends, the true costs of buying, the role of timing, misuse of comparables, and the influence the real estate listing duration has on the home price. So let's talk about the impact of local market trends on home prices. So you might hear, oh, home prices are coming down. I've had people reach out and say, oh, I heard home prices are coming down. And I say, I'm like, where, right? Maybe somewhere. What you need to realize is that the real estate market varies across the nation. And not only does it vary across the nation, it varies more micro than that. You may have cities that are next to each other where home prices are stagnant in one, but skyrocketing in the other. Perfect example, Lighthouse Point, Florida. Lighthouse Point is a quaint little town on the water in East Pompano area, pretty much. Now, Pompano, the home prices are going to be much lower than that of those in Lighthouse Point. And Lighthouse Point pretty much sits within Pompano, right? But you have multi-million-dollar homes in Lighthouse Point, and you can have homes that are a couple $100,000 in Pompano right next door. So it's important to understand the micro market, right? The specific market in which you're looking to buy, and not look at the general market as a whole, because it can be so much different from one place to the other. And like I said, as close as cities that are connecting to one another, or even within each other to some degree. Now, you also want to be familiar with what the true costs associated with buying a home are. So what do I mean by that? You're probably saying to yourself, well, yeah, I know I'm buying the house. I need to have a down payment for that house. Absolutely, you do, assuming you don't qualify for some sort of program that covers your down payment, right? And you can check out what those are in some of my other videos. But yeah, sure, you need a down payment for your home. But what about your closing costs? And what are your closing costs? Well, if you're using a lender for a mortgage, you're going to have lender charges. You're going to have miscellaneous charges like an appraisal, a credit report. You're going to have a title company involved or a title attorney involved. You're going to have to pay them for their services. You're going to have to pay for the title insurance policy that comes along with the purchase. If you're in Florida, you have government charges. We pay documentary stamps on the mortgage. If you're buying new construction, you're going to pay deed transfer tax on the cost of the property. You may even have to pay a builder fee if you're buying new construction. You have to set up an escrow account with taxes and insurance. You have to pay your full insurance premium in full at the time of closing, right? These are all additional costs. And I break this down in my video where I explain closing costs in detail. I go through a loan estimate and I give you all those details, but it's important to know these things, right? You don't want to be surprised to find out that you need money on top of your down payment when the time comes to purchase a home. You want to know these things up front. Another thing you want to consider are costs that come along with owning the home after the fact, right? It's probably pretty obvious you're going to have electric bill and utilities, but something that people don't consider and what your real estate agent probably isn't telling you are your property taxes. Yeah, sure, you know you have to pay property taxes, but did you know that your property taxes are likely to skyrocket in your second year of ownership? Why does this happen though? Well, when you buy your property, the taxes are based on what the previous owner paid for the property and what that property's assessed value is, which is typically going to be in line with what that person paid for the property. But what if that person bought the property 20 years ago, right? Well, the amount their taxes can increase year over year if they're still the owner are minimized, especially if it's a primary residence, let's say here in Florida. Those taxes can't go up by more than 3% every year. 3% of the tax amount, not on the value of the property. However, when you buy that property and title changes hands, the following year, that property is going to be reassessed by the county property appraiser. Now, it's not an exact science. However, the assessed value will be very similar to what the sale price of the property is. So if the original buyer paid $400,000 for their property, use that number, they might have a $6,000 tax bill annually. But if you pay $600,000 for that same property, assuming a 1.5% tax rate, you're going to pay $9,000. And it's not exact science, like I said, but assuming it would be $9,000 for your taxes. That's $3,000 more, 1.5 times what the previous owner or the person you bought the home from was paying in taxes. So just keep in mind, there's a good chance and a likely chance your property taxes will increase the year following the one in which you purchased the home. But this is something that your realtor is probably not telling you up front because it can be a deterrent for some people. But you want to keep that in mind. You also want to know about any additional costs for buying the property or buying in a community where there's a homeowners association fee. What costs do you have to pay up front for that homeowners association? There's actually an addendum to the purchase agreement if you're buying in a homeowners association that breaks down the money that's due up front at the time of closing. But I've seen plenty of contracts where the realtors forget to put that in, or they didn't know they were supposed to put it in, or they didn't list everything that's required to be collected up front, and then you're hit with it at closing. Because whether they put it in or not, you're still required to pay it if it's a fee that comes along with buying in that community. So you want to keep that in mind. So make sure to ask your agent, hey, I know this is a homeowners association. I know I'm going to pay monthly, but is there any sort of capital contribution I have to make to live in this community? Are there any additional homeowners association fees I have to pay at the time of closing when I buy this property? Right? So those are common costs you might not know about that are associated with buying that your real estate agent may not disclose to you up front. They should, but they may not. Whether it's intentional or not, we don't know, but make sure to ask about those things. And if you ask about it, there's no chance of them not telling you about it intentionally. Now, what is the role of timing play in buying your real estate? Well, timing, I'm talking about you got to time things right? Is this person that's selling their property needing to get out of the property, right? Or have they been transferred for work? Has the property now been given to a relocation company and maybe they're willing to take less for the property because of that, right? Timing definitely plays a part in your ability to get a better deal on a home. So make sure to speak to your agent. You want to know these things. What's going on with the seller of the property that you're hoping to buy? Does it make more sense to buy in a slower time of year? Well, depending on the market where you live. Florida is difficult because you can go out and sell real estate year round here in Florida. There's not really a slow time or a fast time or busier time here. But there are states where the weather plays a big role in the ability and timing of buying real estate, right? You go up north and it snows for, 5-6 months out of the year, or it's freezing cold. Well, during those snowier months, real estate sits longer because people are now trying to sell their properties, maintain. So you might be able to get a better deal during those slower months, depending on the market in which you're looking to buy. Now, a lot of realtors, when they're trying to put together an offer on a property, or even a listing agent who's trying to list a property at a higher price, may misuse comparables. Now, a comparable is a home that's like the property that's being sold or purchased, right? Maybe it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. A comparable will be a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. But not all homes are going to be true comparables. And some realtors will go out of their way to only show the highest sales. But that's just not how it works. Let's look at a comparable from the perspective of an appraiser. The appraiser is the person who will go out either on your behalf if you're getting a private appraisal done, or on behalf of the lender if you're getting a mortgage. They're going to go out, they're going to look at true comparables. Now, an ideal comparable is a sale that's taken place within the last 6 months in the immediate area of the home that you're buying, and it's true comparable, meaning it has the same bedroom count, same bathroom count, same or similar square footage. If you're buying on a canal, a great comp would be another home on a canal, right? You're not always going to be able to find those things, but misuse of comparables in determining what you should offer on a property or what someone's asking for a property would be a realtor saying, oh, I believe this home is worth $500,000, for example, because this other home sold recently for $500,000, but the home that's over $500,000 that they're comparing it to is larger, or it's more upgraded, or it's on a lake and the home they're selling is not on a lake, right? That's the misuse of comparables to help determine a value. So you want to keep that in mind. If you're speaking with your realtor and they're advising you on what you should offer on a property, have them show you the comparables that are being used in order to help you make the decision as to whether or not it makes sense to offer the amount they're actually telling you you should. Now, let's talk about the influence of real estate listing duration. And by that, I mean the amount of time a property's been sitting on the market. Let's think about this logically. If a property's been sitting on the market longer, there's a higher likelihood you can get a better deal on that property. And by better deal, I mean either a reduced price or credits toward your closing costs or some sort of temporary rate buy down from that seller, because now they're in a position where you have the upper hand, right? Homes that are moving off the market or been on the market a couple days or a week, right? Typically typically have more people looking at them. Stuff that's been sitting longer is going to be more stagnant. So they're going to be more apt to work with you when it comes to the price or any sort of incentives they can offer you for buying those properties. So utilize this strategy of looking for properties that have been on the market longer when you're working with your agent, because it can help you negotiate a lower price and, as I said, incentives when you're looking to buy. And your agent may not volunteer this information without you asking. It's important to work with a realtor you are 100% comfortable with and that you feel has your best interest in mind. However, having the information I've shared in this video prior to selecting an agent puts you in a much better position. If you find this information helpful, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can continue educating yourself on real estate and mortgages, and make sure to leave a comment below if you have questions about your own scenario. I reply to 100% of the comments left on my videos.